welcome to another Journalist Toolbox training. My name is Mike Riley, the founder and editor of Journalist Toolbox. Today we're going to talk about a series of tools I've been sharing over my Twitter account to the hashtag Cool Tool Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I share a new tool at the @JournToolbox Twitter handle. So you can go there and just search that hashtag and look back at some of them that I've shared over the past few months. I've started this in October of 2020. It's been very well received, so I thought maybe it'd be fun to share some of the tools that I've been posting there on a training video so you can really see what we do with them. These tools links will be available in the description area of this video, so you won't have to go and Google them or try and look them up on the video or anything. They'll actually be under the description at the bottom of this video. The first one I want to share with you comes from the Library of Congress. It's called the News Navigator. It allows you to search 1.5 million historic newspaper photos in this giant database. It has everything from 1900 up to 1963 in it. And it gives you a little training video. It's about 15 minutes long. And it was created by Benjamin Lee as part of a program called Innovator in Residence program with the Library of Congress. And it allows you to search by state, by a year. This is the time range on the year. So I'm going to do from 1900 to 1940. And I live in Chicago. Let's look up Al Capone. Al Capone. Hit return. And it will give me some newspaper clippings of photos of whatever topic I typed in. So, there's Al Capone throughout the years. You can go through and add these to a collection, and it's kind of like a bookmark. And then your collection is right up here, so you can go back and look these up. It uses artificial intelligence to go through and analyze all of this and be able to find these images. He does some tagging with it as well. You can go back and reset your filters right here. And search for something else if you want to add John F. Kennedy to your list now and search for him. You can find John F. Kennedy clippings. Anybody that was prominent during those years. You can go through and add to your collection, so you can bookmark all these. You can save these. Use them as clippings and embed them in articles, things like that. I do attribute, what publications they came from. If you click on the little info tab, it tells you, this came from the Arizona Sun, and a little bit of backwards keywords about it as well. So you can cite it and link off to it. You can embed it, screen grab and drop it in there, or download the image itself. It does allow you to download them as well. So gives you a download image option, view the full issue of the publication, which is kind of cool, and has a little bio about the newspaper and then the citations too. You can look at them in gallery and in list form, so it's a really nice, easy way to look it up. Another fun one is Radio Garden. This is a mashup tool between Google Earth and this big giant database of radio stations. And you can zoom in, zoom out, and look around the globe. And if you want to find a radio station in a certain country, you can just kind of zoom in, and there you go, all over the world. And I can just skip to different ones here, and it's kind of cool to see these stations in Thailand and other countries like this. So you can go in and play them and listen to them. It lists the station information down here. You also has a little search tool in it. And I know there's some phone apps and things that'll do this as well, but this is a pretty good one. Another tool I really like is Diverse Sources. Diverse Sources is just a listing of sources on various topics, but there are people of color who can answer your questions and serve as sources for stories. Anytime you see somebody listed in a database like this, they tend to be pretty media friendly. They're going to return your calls. You got a searchable filter in here, so you can go through and look, this person's a social scientist whose expertise is in the area of virtual reality. I could search virtual reality here, and it would filter out everybody but, the different VR experts. So very, very nice database. I've got a whole collection of expert databases on journalisttoolbox.org if you ever want to look into them. Google Fact Check Explorer is another one of my favorites. It's been around for a couple years now. It moved out of beta a little over a year ago. Allows you to do fact checks on people or things that person said. I can type in Joe Biden here, and it gives me the most recent fact checks on anything that either Biden said or has been said about Biden. It looks through news articles, blog posts, social media posts, and links up to whatever organization did the fact check. In this case, it was Newsweek. Here's USA Today. Links to that fact check. And just allows you to go in, and this is good for social media editors, or if you're going to link off to some information or quote it in a story, run that person's name through Fact Check Explorer first, see if that quote actually was said, or if there's some questions about it. Recent fact checks shows you all fact checks regardless of topic, and they're from all over the world. You'll see stuff in here from India Today, Australia, AP, all over the world. In fact, there's one from India Today. And you can open up these fact checks and read through them, So really, really helpful resource to be able to search for these pretty quickly. And all it does is use Google's algorithm that matches up the fact checks to the stories in Google News. So you've probably seen, the little link on the news articles in Google News that link off to the fact checks. This allows you to make them searchable and find them that way. Another of my favorite tools, I've shown this one a few times before, is mapchecking.com. Mapchecking is another mashup tool. It uses Google Maps and this tool that was created by Anthony Cattell. And I'll type in James Thompson Center here. This is where we have a lot of protests. What it does is it allows you to measure the size of a group of people. For example, a protest or maybe an outdoor concert. As we head out of the pandemic, hopefully we'll see more of those. And I can zoom in, like this whole area here is the James Thompson Center in Chicago. Is where a lot of our protests start. And I can click around on here and put down these little keyframes that give me a shape. And I can move those keyframes around so they don't bleed into the buildings. And then I can adjust over here on the slider. If it's a pretty crowded area, you're going to have 2 people per square meter. And, with this area painted out, let's say you had drone footage or maybe TV footage, or you had a reporter on the scene that said, hey, yeah, it's really jam-packed down here, all the way from LaSalle over to Clark, about halfway up to the Starbucks. And I can sit here and paint this out. This was very helpful during the George Floyd protests, during the insurrection. We did it on the Capitol steps to get an estimate of how many people were out there on the Capitol steps and lawn. Again, we couldn't use it to measure how many people were inside, but it gave us a good idea of how many people were outside. And again, as a crowd, thickens or lessens, we can always move this. If it's really crowded, 2.5 people per square meter, you've got roughly 10,000 people in this area. It is based on science. If you look up here on what does it look like, Dr. Keith Still, who does crowd risk analysis and crowd safety as part of his research, has outlined, here's kind of what a crowd looks like at 3 people per square meters. Not a lot of social distancing there. But here's what it looks like with half a person per square meter. It's not quite as dense. So this tool doesn't just randomly guess. It's grounded in science. And when you see the link up here, you can grab this link and link off to it so you can show people how you got your estimate. It's a lot more accurate than asking the cops or event organizers for a crowd estimate, especially when it's outdoor areas. We do it before the Women's March in Chicago. Everybody crowds into Grant Park before they go and do their march. We can estimate that crowd pretty quickly. It would have been very handy. This tool would have for the 2017 inauguration for Trump when he was claiming how many people were down in the Washington Mall. So again, mapchecking.com, really cool, handy tool. Another of my favorites is Google Earth Engine Time-Lapse. This is good for census stories. It is good for environmental stories. What it is 35 years of satellite imagery over a given area. You can see the little time ticker here at the bottom of the screen. You can control 3 speeds. I usually set it to full speed, which is 1x. And you'll watch Las Vegas, Nevada, which I typed into the area up here, actually absolutely explode in size over a period of 30 years. Look at it. Look what happens to Lake Mead. It goes down. So maybe you've had an area that's been hit by brush fires or flooding or a tornado or something like that. You'll be able to see that damage in here. It only goes up to 2018 right now. We should have 2019 data in there pretty soon. But very handy little tool. And again, very easy to embed. Zoom in, zoom out to wherever you want it to be. And click on the little share button in the upper left. It gives you an iframe and a link that you can use to embed. Another one I really like is called Lose the Very. Lose the Very. This helps break students of the bad habit of student journalists that I teach, a very bad habit of using very all the time in their writing. So, you sub in the word very smart, and it gives you bright. It gives you the synonym that, much tighter. It's good for headline writing too. If you're stuck on something and maybe somebody had used the word very smart in a quote or something like that, and you need to find a synonym for it pretty quickly. You can go from there. You can also update the database too. This is a crowdsourced tool. A very handy little tool. It's called losethevery.com. It's featured on Product Hunt, which is where I found it. So again, Cool Tool Tuesday. Sit in whenever you can. Search that hashtag every Tuesday at 1 Central Time, 2 Eastern Time. I'll have a new tool there for you. Also, if you have one that you think is helpful for journalists, tweet it there to hashtag Cool Tool Tuesday, or just go to journalisttoolbox.org. I also accept submissions up here for Submit a Site, and I'll list it here on the Journalist Toolbox website. So thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you soon.